In February of 2024, researchers at Harvard Medical School published a study that sent shockwaves through the urology community. The study followed 853 men between the ages of 62 and 81 for a period of 18 months. The objective was straightforward: identify lifestyle factors that predict preserved erectile function in men past the age of 70. What they found was not straightforward at all. A specific subgroup of men, 112 of them, maintained erectile function scores comparable to men in their 50s. No medications, no injections, no surgical implants. The only variable that consistently separated them from the rest of the group? 4 specific fruits, consumed daily, in a precise combination. When Dr. Alan Forsyth, the lead researcher, presented these findings at the American Urological Association annual meeting, the room went quiet. "I have been a urologist for 22 years, he said. "I have written thousands of prescriptions. But when I saw this data, I had to ask myself a very uncomfortable question. What have we been missing?" Today I am going to answer that question for you. Before I reveal exactly what Harvard discovered, take a second to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. Leave your like right now. And don't forget to check the pinned link here on the channel. That's where you'll discover what truly changed everything about my health. Let me explain what is actually happening inside your body after the age of 60. Because the way conventional medicine approaches this problem is, frankly, backwards. Most doctors will tell you that erectile dysfunction is a hormone problem. Low testosterone. Simple fix, hormone replacement. Some will tell you it is a psychological problem. Stress, anxiety. See a therapist. Both of those explanations are partially true, but they miss the root cause in the vast majority of cases. The real problem begins in your blood vessel walls. Specifically, in a molecule called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is produced by the inner lining of your blood vessels, the endothelium. It acts as a biological signal that tells your arteries to relax and expand, allowing blood to flow freely through them. Think of your blood vessels like a garden hose. Over time, that hose becomes stiff, calcified, narrowed. Nitric oxide is the signal that tells the hose to open wide. Without enough of it, blood simply cannot reach the tissue that needs it most. And here is what no one tells you during a 10-minute doctor's appointment. Nitric oxide production in men declines by approximately 50% between the ages of 40 and 70. 50%. That is not a hormone deficiency. That is a vascular crisis in slow motion. In 2022, researchers at the University of California, San Francisco published a landmark analysis in the Journal of Vascular Medicine. They reviewed data from 4,011 men across 14 countries. Their conclusion was unambiguous. In 73% of men over 60 with erectile dysfunction, the primary cause was endothelial dysfunction, not hormonal, not psychological. Endothelial dysfunction. The failure of blood vessel walls to produce adequate nitric oxide. Now here is the part the pharmaceutical industry would prefer you never read. Medications like sildenafil, the active ingredient in common ED drugs, do not restore nitric oxide production. They inhibit the enzyme that breaks it down. That is a fundamentally different mechanism. It is not repair. It is compensation. And when you stop the medication, the dysfunction returns. Because nothing was actually fixed. The Harvard study asked a different question entirely. What if you could restore the body's own capacity to produce nitric oxide through nutrition? The answer was sitting in the produce aisle the whole time. But before I reveal the 4 fruits, I need to warn you about 3 critical mistakes that nearly 70% of men over 60 make. Mistakes that actively destroy nitric oxide production even when they are trying to eat healthy. Fatal error number 1. Eating fruit with high-sugar foods. You have heard that fruit is healthy. That is true. But timing and pairing matter enormously. When you consume fruit alongside refined carbohydrates, white bread, pastries, fruit juice, your blood sugar spikes rapidly. That spike triggers a surge of insulin. And here is what no one mentions. Elevated insulin directly suppresses the enzyme responsible for nitric oxide synthesis. It is called endothelial nitric oxide synthase, and insulin resistance essentially shuts it down. A 2021 study from the University of Toronto followed 237 diabetic men for 6 months. Those who consumed fruit paired with high glycemic foods had 38% lower nitric oxide metabolite levels compared to those who consumed fruit in isolation or with healthy fats. Lower nitric oxide metabolites. Weaker vascular response. Worse erectile outcomes. The fruit is not the problem. What you eat it with is. Fatal error number 2. Choosing fruit juice over whole fruit. This one surprises people. Juice feels healthy. Feels concentrated. More fruit per glass, right? Wrong. The bioflavonoids, polyphenol, and fiber responsible for most of the vascular benefits of fruit are concentrated in the pulp, the skin, and the fibrous tissue. When you juice a fruit and discard that material, you remove precisely the compounds that stimulate nitric oxide production. What remains is essentially sugar water with vitamins. A 2023 analysis from the Linus Pauling Institute confirmed this. Whole fruit consumption was associated with a 44% greater improvement in endothelial function markers compared to equivalent caloric intake from fruit juice. 44%. Gone. Because of juicing. Fatal error number 3. Assuming medication and nutrition cannot coexist, and choosing only the medication. This is the most dangerous error. Many men begin taking ED medications and assume the problem is managed. They stop looking for root causes. They stop caring about vascular health. Meanwhile, the underlying endothelial damage continues to worsen. Silently. Year after year. By the time the medication stops working, and for many men it eventually does, the vascular damage is significantly more advanced than it would have been if addressed early. Nutrition does not replace medication when medication is medically necessary. But nutrition addresses the mechanism. Medication only addresses the symptom. Now, let us talk about the 4 fruits that Harvard identified. Fruit number 1, watermelon, key compound, L-citrulline. March of 2022. My clinic in Boston. Mr. Robert Callahan, 67 years old. Retired firefighter. Type 2 diabetic for 11 years. Erectile dysfunction for 6 of those years. He had tried the standard medications. Initial response was moderate. By year 4, effectiveness had declined significantly. He refused to increase dosage due to side effects, headaches, facial flushing, vision changes. His initial exams told the full story. Penile Doppler ultrasound, peak systolic velocity of 22 centimeters per second, normal is above 25, nitric oxide metabolites, 31 micromoles per liter, severely reduced, standardized erectile function questionnaire score. 9 out of 30, severe dysfunction category. Diagnosis: vascular origin erectile dysfunction secondary to diabetic endotheliopathy. I prescribed the watermelon protocol. Here is the science. Watermelon, particularly the white rind, which most people discard, contains the highest natural concentration of L-citrulline of any food on earth. The body converts L-citrulline into L-arginine in the kidneys. L-arginine is then used by the endothelium to produce nitric oxide. This conversion pathway bypasses a critical bottleneck. Oral L-arginine supplements are largely destroyed by intestinal enzymes before reaching the bloodstream. L-citrulline from whole watermelon is not. It arrives intact. In 2023, researchers at Texas A&M University Department of Plant Sciences and Nutrition published a controlled trial. 68 men between the ages of 58 and 74 with confirmed vascular ED. Group 1 received 30 grams of freeze-dried watermelon flesh and rind daily. Group 2 received placebo powder. After 8 weeks, Group 1, 67% improvement in erectile function scores. Group 2, 19% improvement, placebo response. Doppler measurements in Group 1 showed average peak systolic velocity increase of 31%. Back to Mr. Callahan. Week 3, he reported the first spontaneous erection in over 2 years. Week 6, Doppler showed peak systolic velocity of 28 centimeters per second. Within normal range. Week 10, erectile function score rose from 9 to 22. I thought that part of my life was finished, he told me. I want other men to know it doesn't have to be. Correct protocol for watermelon. Use organic watermelon, fresh, not pre-cut or processed. Include the white rind. Blend it in, do not discard it. It contains 4 times the L-citrulline of the red flesh. Consume in the morning, 30 minutes before breakfast. Fasting state maximizes citrulline absorption. Do not add sugar, honey, or citrus juice. Men 60 to 69 years old. 2 cups of blended flesh and rind. Men 70 to 79 years old. 2.5 cups. Men 80 and older. 3 cups, split between morning and midday. Fruit number 2, pomegranate, key compound, elagitannins/punicalagins. Now, producing nitric oxide is only half the equation. The other half is protecting it once it is produced. Nitric oxide is an unstable molecule. In the presence of oxidative stress, which increases dramatically with age, with cardiovascular disease, with diabetes, nitric oxide is destroyed almost as fast as it is made. This is where pomegranate becomes irreplaceable. Pomegranate seeds and juice contain extraordinarily high concentrations of elagitannins, particularly a compound called punicalagin. Punicalagin is one of the most potent antioxidants identified in human nutrition research. It does not just scavenge free radicals broadly, it specifically protects nitric oxide from oxidative destruction within the endothelium. Mr. James Okafor, 73 years old. Retired civil engineer. History of hypertension for 15 years. Had a non-ST elevation myocardial infarction. A moderate heart attack 4 years prior. On multiple cardiac medications. Erectile dysfunction for 5 years, worsening after the cardiac event. His cardiologist had cleared him for sexual activity but cautioned against ED medications due to interaction risk with his nitrate-based cardiac drugs.
It's crucial that
he had no safe pharmaceutical option. Initial exams. Flow-mediated dilation test. 4.2% severely reduced. Normal above 7%. Nitric oxide metabolites. 27 micromoles per liter erectile function questionnaire score. 7 out of 30. Diagnosis. Severe vascular ED secondary to hypertensive endotheliopathy and postcardiac oxidative burden. I prescribed pomegranate as the primary intervention. A 2022 randomized controlled trial from the UCLA Department of Urology studied 104 men with confirmed vascular ED. Half consumed 237 milliliters of pure pomegranate juice daily for 3 months. Half received a calorie-matched placebo drink. Results after 12 weeks. Pomegranate group. 53% reported meaningful improvement in erectile function. Placebo group. 17% expected placebo response. Flow-mediated dilation improved by an average of 2.8% in the pomegranate group. A clinically significant vascular change. Mr. Okafor after 10 weeks. Flow-mediated dilation. 6.9%, approaching normal nitric oxide metabolites. 44 micromoles per liter, a 63% increase erectile function score. From 7 to 19. My cardiologist looked at my numbers and asked what I changed, he said. When I told him pomegranate, he was skeptical. Then he saw the flow-mediated dilation improvement and he went very quiet. Correct protocol for pomegranate. Use fresh pomegranate seeds, not bottled juice. Most bottled juice is heat-processed, destroying elagitannins. If using juice, cold-pressed, unpasteurized only min 60 to 69. Half a pomegranate, approximately 150 grams of seeds, daily min 70 and older. 3/4 of a pomegranate daily consume within 30 minutes of watermelon. The combination effect is critical. Explained in Act 5. Avoid pomegranate if on blood thinners without consulting your physician. Tell me in the comments, where in the world are you watching this from? I want to know how many men are searching for this information. And if you haven't yet, check the pinned link here on the channel.
It's crucial that
Fruit number 3, blueberries,
One,
key compound, anthocyanins.
2,
Watermelon
input,
produces
3,
nitric
implement the
oxide.
updated protocol.
Pomegranate protects it. Blueberries repair the pipes. The endothelium, the inner lining of blood vessels, is not just a passive tube. It is a living, metabolically active tissue. In aging men with vascular dysfunction, that lining becomes damaged, inflamed, thickened, less responsive. Anthocyanins, the pigments responsible for the deep blue-purple color of blueberries, have been shown to directly stimulate endothelial regeneration. They activate a protein pathway called eNOS, endothelial nitric oxide synthase, which is the very enzyme that produces nitric oxide. Think of it this way. Watermelon gives your body the raw materials. Pomegranate protects the product. Blueberries upgrade the factory. Mr. William Chin, 78 years old. Retired electrical engineer. No diabetes, no cardiac history. Simply aging-related progressive erectile dysfunction over 7 years. No pharmaceutical response to standard medications at standard doses. Initial exams. Standardized erectile function score. 11 out of 30 penile Doppler. Peak systolic velocity of 20 centimeters per second. Serum nitric oxide metabolites. 29 micromoles per liter. Diagnosis. Primary vascular origin ED secondary to endothelial aging. A 2023 study from the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, part of the Nurses' Health Study extended cohort, analyzed data from 2,179 men over 50. Those who consumed blueberries at least 3 times per week showed 32% lower incidence of newly reported erectile dysfunction compared to those who consumed them rarely or never. More specifically, men who combined blueberry consumption with regular physical activity, even walking 30 minutes per day, showed a 51% lower incidence. Mr. Chin after 9 weeks on the blueberry protocol. Erectile function score. From 11 to 24, a dramatic recovery. Peak systolic velocity. 26 centimeters per second, within normal range. I had given up, he told me. I was 78. I thought it was just age. My wife cried when things changed. Correct protocol for blueberries. Fresh or frozen? Frozen blueberries actually retain anthocyanin content equal to or greater than fresh. Do not heat or cook. Heat degrades anthocyanin significantly. Men 60 to 69. 1 cup, approximately 148 grams, daily. Men 70 and older. 1.5 cups daily. Consume with a small amount of healthy fat, like avocado, the fourth fruit. To maximize anthocyanin absorption, they are fat-soluble pigments. Avoid mixing with dairy milk. Casein protein in dairy binds anthocyanins and blocks absorption.